The Kogi, the bond with the Kogi has never been broken, but Don Alejandro signed a contract with people in Hollywood.
Uh-oh.
And everything seemed to change at that point. In fact, I even heard that they started, making slanderous comments about Drunvalo and his part in all of this and blah, blah, blah. So it got screwed up by some kind of soap opera thing.
Yeah.
And then when Hollywood took it over, what they did was they sent out legal notices to everybody that had ever done anything with him. I mean, we've got thousands of reels of video footage of ceremonial stuff that was done with Drunvalo, Don Alejandro, and all those guys, that was fully sanctioned. And now Hollywood's coming in and saying nobody has any right to share any of that.
Wow.
Okay. And I don't know what happened to Don Alejandro. My sense is, okay, so the book got put on hold. Hollywood got hold of it. And my sense, and this is just my opinion, okay?
Yeah.
Is that Hollywood got in and said, don't come out with all the truth all at once. Let's milk this trend for as long as we can. So they've got until 2012 to squeak out the truth.
Yeah,
and so that they want to profit off it, you see?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And it's not helping anybody.
No, of course not. Of course
And what I've got to, and what this taught me, I mean, I'm always like, I kind of over-idealize everything.
Yeah.
Okay, the Indians, the native people, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
they can do no wrong. Well, I've learned that they're human.
Right.
And that they're just as, well, maybe not just as, but they can be influenced in the same way that many of us can.
Yeah.
And so, who the hell knows what's going on there? I mean, they even say the Dalai Lama is, under their spell.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I've heard that too. Well, all the more reason for us, each one of us, as a microcosm, to go within and find our own truth. I mean,
hallelujah.
Yes. You literally cannot find it out there anymore.
I love you for saying it, because that is the truth.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. And then, we're going to, because we're fragmented as in consciousness, once we're able to reconnect, like the Internet without wires, then I think everybody will have the same information, and that will automatically put a halt to any kind of manipulations or bad doings. And I think it's real easy now to get into telepathic forms of communication. And it's funny, I've made agreements with, well, at least one of my friends. Actually, Claudette's a real good friend of mine, and it's funny, while she was in Russia, I said, let's not email, let's just try to talk telepathically, and we'll compare notes when you get back. I mean, it's really interesting to try to do that. Oh, yeah.
And just start doing it with the people that you're really connected to and see what happens. You don't necessarily need a telephone.
Right. That's a great idea. I love it.
The other thing, is that we've got all of these super psychic kids around now, you see?
Yeah. And
they already have figured this out. They don't need any kind of electronic device.
Right. That's right.
And so I have a feeling that when and if they do this, this could be their next big trick, because they can't pull off any nuclear stuff. They can't do that anymore, because I guess the orbs floated in and what do they call it? Is it deploy? No, deploy. That's not the word. Dismantled.
Yeah, dismantled.
All of them. But, shutting down the Internet, when I start to think, God, I'm going to have to start writing with my left hand again. I'm going to have to start sending letters in the mail.
Yeah.
I mean, what about the banking systems when they go out? What about all of the universities and colleges and businesses? I mean, just think, it isn't just the economy that's going to be affected by that. It's everything.
Oh, yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because, it's like one thing gets, one door closes and another door opens.
Well, I'm real curious, because if things don't pop, when Cliff says they're going to pop, there is another workshop happening in November.
Oh,
I think it begins on the 12th of November.
Oh, good.
I can't remember.
How do people find out about that?
Drunvalo's workshops are all listed on his website, and his website is www.drunvalo.net. You can also find out through his website, www.onelotus.net.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you can find out about all his stuff on the Spirit of Matt, which is www.spiritofmatt.com. Matt is M-A-A-T. This was going to be his last workshop, this November workshop, but we just heard yesterday that he's going to be doing 5 workshops in Sedona, Arizona next year. He's going to keep working.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, good.
It's amazing to see what happens to people.
And
this is what I love, because he's not interested in being the big guru, and he's not interested in being the one that knows the most. Although sometimes I feel like he's like that, the smart aleck up the street who knows everything. Because he does. He knows so much stuff. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I just love Drunvalo. And I've read all of his work, so...
Oh, I wish you could come to his workshops. Maybe you can come
maybe I'll
be
able to. I'll look into it. You know, because it would be a wonderful experience, and, I would love doing it, so I will look into that.
Well, the thing I like about him is he shares everything he knows, because his purpose and his aim is to teach everybody who comes how to get into the place where they can connect with themselves. It's never about him.
Oh, yeah. There's no question in my mind about his sincerity or authenticity or deep wisdom. Mm-hmm. And his last book, I can't remember the name of it.
Serpent of Light.
Yeah, oh, my God. It was just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just left me in an altered state. So,
it's interesting. He provides a really good example, and basically what he's saying is that as soon as when people learn to live from their heart, they basically get into a slipstream of energy that opens a pathway, so that they can begin to be. We're all moving into a place where it's about being instead of doing.
Right.
And my experience when I am, centered in that place, is that everything comes to me.
Yes.
I don't have to go out.
Yes.
I keep my attention on, being, the most, not the most perfect person, but just being impeccable in what I do, and in staying in the moment and in listening to my internal guidance. And it's fascinating to me that the more I relax into it, the better things go. And what I've seen is that we've been so heavily programmed by the Puritan ethic that says, hard work and fruitful labor is the path to God. I mean, we're so busy out there doing, hoping that our acts will redeem us, when all we really have to do is love ourselves and just be. Just be.
Yeah, beautifully said.
And I believe, too, we're already in this fourth dimensional frequency. We're already there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just...
And I guess what's going on, and this is something that, we're already there, and they've stepped down our perceptions of it so that we can get used to how it feels to be here.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I don't know how people who are really plugged into the systematic structures are doing. I'd love to know how they're coping at this point in time.
Yeah.
Those people who are all wired up to everything under the sun and have money in the bank and are still invested in the stock market. I don't know how they're coping.
Yeah.
I really don't know how they get
I don't know either. Honest to God. I wonder the same questions. I'm just guessing there will be a point at which there will be total breakdown.
Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. It is exciting because on the other side of breakdown is breakthrough.
Yes, and I think this is what people have to see right now.
Yeah,
and even all of these disastrous things, I mean, if you think about, 120 degrees in Moscow.
Wow.
Torrential rains in Arizona. Let's see, volcanoes in Iceland. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oil spills, earthquakes, tsunamis here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really try to keep track of the global weather, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a lot of people that are rushing around trying to heal the situation in the Gulf with all kinds of gadgets and tools and stuff. But I wonder about that because could it be that this huge gash in her belly is part of her healing process? Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be hard-pressed to think that I could even think of what to do to step in and heal that situation.
Maybe it's a cesarean section.
It is amazing when you think of it, because that oil, I mean, think of what the oil, what does it represent?
Well,
is it, if the water is the blood of the planet, what is the oil? I don't know. Could it be bile? But all of that stuff is being released, and it's almost as if the collective rage and all of the suppressed issues, that's what it feels like to me, because it's plutonic in nature.
Yeah.
And, regardless of how that happened, it really doesn't matter, because it's a fact.
Right.
And if it was Mother Earth that unleashed herself, or if it was the plutocrats who decided they were going to cut her open so that they could exploit the whole problem and use it as a secondary measure to wipe out. They're trying to reduce the population so that they only have 500 million people here to serve their needs.
Well, good luck on that one.
Well, they're doing a fantastic job. I mean, there's poison in everything.
They are. Everything is poison. There's no question about it. But I just, for some reason, I have the highest faith in the idea that they're absolutely not going to succeed, and that they're on their way. They're on their last legs.
Yes, and that's my take on it too, Lance. Really.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like they know they've lost.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I said this to you the last time. There was a guy here in one of the workshops, a couple of workshops ago, was like one of the, he's like one of the leaders of the dark forces, right? Mm-hmm. And he showed up at one of Drunvalo's workshops, and Drunvalo recognized him immediately. I mean, those guys know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and Drunvalo doesn't have any discrimination. He wants everybody to wake up, so it's never about, he's the bad guy, I'm the good guy. I mean, they're good friends, and they converse about this. And what he said to Drunvalo the last time, or Drunvalo said to him, he said, why is it that you guys always do this at the end of every cycle?
Yeah.
Why is it that you always kick and claw when you know you've lost?
Yeah.
And he said, I really don't know. He said, and that's why I'm here.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where the negative polarity can only go so far, and it flips its own poles into the positive, because it can only go so, Yeah,
well, we're going into a totally female thing, and that's another thing.
Thank goodness.
Okay, and the whole idea of, the fact that anybody that I talk to, and I'm sure you can agree, feels like everything's speeding up.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
Okay, well, everything is speeding up exponentially on a daily basis.
In fact, things are speeding up so fast, we've run out of time.
I figure. Okay, well, I love talking to you so much.
I love talking to you, too. We could go on for hours.
I know.
So just promise me that you'll return soon, and we'll pick up a new conversation.
Oh, yeah, great. And if the poles don't shift, we can do that. If they do, I'll meet you in the fifth dimension.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cal.
Yeah, thank you. I love you, Lance. You take care.
I love you, too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.